Afternoon, guys. So Sunday afternoon, sat down, a bit chilly in the garden. It's that time of year where it's kind of still winter in the shade but summer in the sun, as Charles Dickens said, some sort of quote. So set this video up as though you were sort of sat next to me. Just thought it might be a bit of a change, really. Might make you feel more at home or whatever. So there's been a bit of an incident, if you like. Friday, there I am. I'd finished the job I was on about 3 o'clock. Customer was happy. Made sure they had the final check over. Very picky, not picky. They know what they want. Not afraid to say it, and obviously, kind of they checked it over and they were pretty happy, really. Not a lot more I could do with that job. Whoever went there before just did an awful job. So there I am. I've unloaded at my lockup. I've got my paint, or as Graham from Brewers would say, I've tooled up at Brewers, and I've sorted my van out for the following week. I've jet washed it down, leathered it off, and that's all I was going to do. So I'd stopped at a parade of shops in Felixstowe Road in Ipswich. It's not particularly rough, but it's got rougher over the years. Round the corner in Hatfield Road, there's now a halfway house, I think, where people, I don't know if they've just come out of prison or I don't know, whatever. And it's quite rough. It's got rougher. I used to live around there years ago, and it was kind of rough then, but not too bad. But I just remember incidents of cars being smashed and all sorts. And so yeah, it was a fairly roughish area, really. So anyway, I've parked up, and this is where we get onto situational awareness as self-employed, and just how to deal with situations. So when I park my vehicle, be it at a customer's house, be it at a parade of shops, even in the supermarket, I do so that I can drive straight away, because you get problems on the job. You could turn up at a job and a customer goes doolally. You could be at a quote, customer goes doolally, you've just got to drive off. So kind of that's my mindset. I learned it a long time ago, to always park my vehicle where you can see, if you're parallel parking, where you can see the vehicles, the vehicle in front, where you can see the tyres, because that means you can drive off quickly without having to do a big manoeuvre. I'm always situationally aware. I never get out of my vehicle unless it's clear on the pavement. Just because you just don't know, as you're getting out and you're locking it, someone could just jump in, nick your lunch bag. It's be a bit of a hassle, isn't it, getting a new lunch bag. So anyway, so I parked up at this parade of shops, and I'm sat there, and I'm just kind of grabbing my phone, getting my bits, and I was going for a haircut. I think you'll agree, hair looks quite nice. Anyway, so I was going to go to my usual place on Felixstowe Road, Songs. So there I am, and this bloke walks past, and I must admit I didn't like the look of him as he was walking towards the van. So obviously I'm not making eye contact. I'm just getting on with my bits. I'm thinking, I'll wait till you've gone, check in the wing mirror, you've gone, and away we go. As he walks past, and he from nowhere, he points at the vehicle. So I'm thinking, okay, have I got a light out or something, or is there something wrong? I will check that when it's safe to do so. So anyway, he then bends down. So he's walked past the van and he's just pointed like this, you see, at the vehicle. So I'm thinking, okay, not doing a window or anything like that. Just sort of sat there. I'm thinking, he bends down and peers in, just peering in like that. So I'm thinking, okay, so I turn my head and wait for him to say something, and normally someone would say, oh, your light's out, mate, or, something wrong. So he's like, cheers, mate, I'll sort it out. That's it. I still wouldn't have undone the window. And anyway, he then starts to pull at the passenger door handle. Quite boom, 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 like this, you see. So I'm sat there thinking, he wants to tell me there's a light out, and he's just a bit simple, maybe. So I'm waiting for him to say, and he didn't say a word during all of this. So I'm like, keeping very quiet. I'm thinking, okay, what's going on? So I'm in my work van, signed, written as painter and decorator, and kind of, I suppose a few years ago, painters and decorators wouldn't really have a lot worth stealing, to be honest with you. Nowadays you've got Merca for stall sanders. I suppose people would have a multi-tool. You might get a couple of £100 worth of tools out of someone. With me, I'm still fairly old school. The beauty, I'll go through that in a minute. So anyway, he then thumps his fist like this on the window. So I'm thinking I'm dealing with a possible psycho. He then stands back. It's going through my mind, and I'm thinking, this isn't worth it. This isn't worth an altercation. I'm self-employed. I'm in a sign-written van. Don't really want to get out of a vehicle where I'm still safe. The van is still secure. I can just start the engine and go. Bearing in mind, I'd had a conversation with my son earlier this week about walking away from trouble. He's some of you know in the video show, he's quite into his karate. So, and I've always said, whenever you see a fight situation, just back off, walk away where you can. Only fight if there's no other option and you've exhausted all your other options. So of course you have to kind of live as you're saying, don't you? Really, you can't kind of say that to your child who you're trying to bring up right, and then go and do the complete opposite. So, and also bearing in mind at this point in time, there's no physical danger. He's just stood there. So I gunned the engine and drove off. So he's then, as I'm driving off, he's kicking at the wing mirror, smashing at the van with his hand and his bag. And he had a black bag in his hand, whatever it was in it. So I've just simply driven off. There's not a lot you can do. I've got a clear road ahead, and I've just gone. Driven around the corner, driven about half a mile. Sat there for a minute, like you do when something like that happens, and you think, okay, next thing. Dialed 999, and it took forever to get through to the police on the emergency services. Explained to them what had happened. Said I was safe and fine. I wasn't clear on the damage on the vehicle. However, the purpose of my call was to let them know what had happened. He's still walking up the road. He's tried to hijack my van, and he might do it to others. Simple as that. It's worth them attending. They were like, oh, well, we're not sure if a crime's been committed. Well, you've got a guy trying to get in my van. It's up to you, really. I'm fine, but he could hurt someone else. He could do it to somebody with a child in the back of the car. He gets in, hijacks their car, drives off with the child. It happens. You don't know. Anyway, so ditched the idea of the haircut at that place, and obviously run home and let them know what was going on. What I did in the end, ever resourceful, I thought I still need a haircut because I was looking a bit of a mess, as I'm sure you'll agree. I think that looks quite good actually. It's better than my usual cut actually. That's something. So I stopped at a place, another place of knowing it was an extra £4 for the haircut, but actually that's worth it. I think I look cool. Anyway, and this kind of story comes into what John Ebrington was saying about sort of other people and offering advice and stuff as self-employed. So obviously all over and done with. Came home, smoked a fair few fags, smoked a bit more than usual actually, but you do, don't you, when you're a bit stressed and stuff. And of course Stan already knew about what happened, so do you know what he did? I park in a communal parking area around the back, snuck up on the van, he did, went to the window and went, why, Stan? So he just obviously thought it was funny or what have you. So that was a bit of fun from him, his comedy, if you like. So anyway, sort of came in, had a look at the van, and Julie kind of the wing mirror, and that's the beauty again of having an older van. It's not sort of, it's all clip on, and it's a bit sort of quite easy to repair. So the wing mirror had come out of alignment, and it was just sort of all the trim had just come loose a bit. So obviously pushed all that back in, saw there were some scratches, and so I said, right, okay. So kind of yesterday, wax buffed them out, and there's a couple of very, very minute scratches you can still see. But then being mature about it, it's a 16-year-old van. I drive into a lot of villages and country places, and there's other little scratches on it, so it's not worth my while making I can't really make an insurance claim and ask for a whole new respray. It's not worth it. And actually they're panels on that van, so I could, I suppose, go to somewhere like Chips Away and have that buffed out. Just going to pause you for a second. Sorry about that. Quick pause needed. So anyway, buffed out the scratches, and I thought, right, I could go to Chips Away, spend a couple hundred. I don't know how much Chips Away are. I think you can get like a couple of scratches done for £100. But I thought it's not actually worth it. They're more or less buffed out. It's fine. Bit of back to black on the wing mirror itself. This is trim. Done. But it still sort of took, really, I think the whole thing, a couple of hours of my time. So kind of you could argue on my hourly rate, really, by the time because obviously I've had to use wax. Obviously once you've waxed a bit of the van, you want to do the whole van really, so otherwise it look out of alignments. But by the time you finished, now for standard hourly rate, couple of hours, an hour with dealing with everything and everything like that, you could probably argue £100. Still below my excess on my van, so it's not worth a claim, not worth asking for insurance number. So, however, the way I dealt with the incident, a lot of you, and trust me, if I had at any point, if I thought I can't get out the van, I can't get out of the situation, I'm out there and I'm having him. Simple as that, because I'm in danger. However, I wasn't. I could drive off. You've got to remain calm in these situations. I had that situational awareness where I'd kind of park the van where I can get out easily. I always do that. Always looking around when I park up in any area, and I'm always ready for a quick getaway. So kind of something I learned a long time ago. And of course I've had experiences in the past, as you know, where I'm kind of probably a bit more able to deal with these things, and obviously I've had little sort of security briefings and stuff from people before, so I kind of know how to handle myself and stuff like that in these situations. However, some of you are self-employed, especially if you're a bit sort of up for it and sort of, you've lived a certain life, maybe one of John Edmonton's, you come here on his recommendation. Just don't. If I got out of that van and done anything physical to him at all, I'm completely to blame. Even if I'd got out of the van to ask him what he's doing, I'm acting aggressively. If he then throws a punch, yes, I can block the punch, I can return it, I can do all of that. But still, that initial getting out of the van, because I'm able to drive away and I'm in no physical danger, would be viewed as an aggressive action, and I'd end up with a criminal record. And that's as simple as that. There's no messing around. There's no argument on that. Plus, I'm in a sign written van. Is that going to look good for potential customers? And of course, there's CCTV on the shops, so maybe or maybe not the police will do something. But the minute I do anything, it's criminal record time. So there's nothing else you can do. I was able to get out of the situation, and I did. End of story, just drove off. Simple as that. No one's going to come to your aid. And also, you don't know if the guy's got 2 or 3 friends around the corner ready to steam in as you come out. You don't know if he's carrying a knife or even some other sort of weapon. So you've got to be careful. He could even have a gun, couldn't he? And just want to drive my van off. And then what do I do? So all of those things you've got to think about before you react to this sort of situation. You can't be going out there and getting aggressive when you're in a sign written van and you're working. And if you've had previous issues with the police or whatever, they're immediately going to just say you're at fault. And I would have been at fault for getting out the van to remonstrate with him, because I can get away, if that makes sense. He hasn't rendered the van inoperable. I can drive off and just, and that's as simple as that. You've got to know your law with that sort of thing. Had I been boxed in, had I not been able to move, and he's battering on the side of the van and he's about to come through the window, then possibly yes, I could get out and do something. However, that would still be, in the eyes of the law, I've got to get out and run. Simple as that. It's the only time you can defend yourself and be physical is if there's no other choice. And as self-employed, it's fatal to do anything else. So I'm finally able to post on Facebook groups again. And obviously I'm on local Facebook groups. So I'll put it on the local Facebook groups. The whole incident said this is what's happened. And lo and behold, because people do, 2 people came forward. One guy was in a van, said, yep, exactly the same thing has happened to them. Literally round the corner, not even 2 minutes, a minute's walk away. Same thing. And somebody else said, yes, around that time, there was a guy moving from where I was towards Aldi, just starting altercations, trying to steal stuff, trying to steal vehicles, all sorts. So hopefully the police did attend, but it goes to show I was just wrong place, wrong time. Unfortunate. But also, so I had the situational awareness. I stay calm with most things. To be honest, had he smashed into the van, had he jumped me in the street, I'd have put him down. Of course, we all would. Not a problem at all, but it's not worth doing now yet. But obviously the other bonus point is, because I have a lock-up, I don't have all my stuff in the van at any one time. Had he actually stolen the van, the next day I could have hired another car. While I was waiting for the insurance to come through, I could have gone to Brewers, got some extra bits, and I could have been at work on Monday still. Do you know what I mean? And that's how you've got to set yourself up. Expect the, obviously plan for the worst, hope for the best. So I could have quite easily gone to the lock-up, picked up a couple of spares that I've got. I don't have everything in the car all at once, and I'd have been okay. So again, it's fine, isn't it, really? He had no face coverings and he would have been caught. So just when your van's trying to be hijacked, stay calm. Remember your situational awareness when you're in a vehicle and working, and just don't react to these people. Just, obviously, had he been coming through, had he smashed the window and got in and all of that sort of thing, then yes, I can take other steps. But he hadn't. Yeah, okay, I've had to wax the van. Okay, I've had to buy a tenner's worth of polish. To be fair, I was going to do it in 2 or 3 weeks anyway, and actually while I had the polish I did the car as well. So yeah, you got to look at these things. But yeah, still a bit stressful. You wonder if it's a targeted attack. I have in the past had an Osman warning. I'll go through that one day. So kind of it goes through your mind, but I just thought, actually, no, it's fine. Go on Facebook groups. He's doing it to everybody else. Nothing to do with me personally. Practice my situational awareness anyway. So I was all absolutely fine and safe. But some of you might have reacted differently to that. And I can imagine some people, that's it, living. You've saved, you've worked hard, everything. You get out and you go mad. You're the ones who's going to end up with the record. Do you know what I mean? And it's just not. It's not worth it. I've heard stories with van robberies as well of one guy, I think he was a painter, I'm not sure. He got stopped. They were shining lights in his vehicle. He couldn't move because of the lights, etc., etc. And they literally dragged him out of his van, pinned him down, emptied the back out into another vehicle and drove off. It's going to happen. To be honest, if that happened to me, I'd be like, fine mate, there's a DeWalt radio in there with a battery. It's covered in dust and paint. Everything else is half-used tins of paint, dust sheets, ladder. It's not worth the while. So bear that in mind as well when you have got a van of worth having a separate lockup. I don't like doing it from home because obviously my children are curious and I'll go through your tools and still not safe, is it really? So yeah, just have a separate little lockup somewhere. Don't have everything in your van all at once. Just have what you need for that job in your van at that time, and then move on. So yeah, kind of all of those things. Nothing really particularly bad happened to me, but it could have done. And that's kind of really just the thing. Just stay calm with things. Don't react. If you're selfish, especially if you're in a assignment van, you do that once, people are going to film you, and that's going to go all over social media. And the next thing you're going to be seen as a psycho, and you're going to struggle to get jobs. So that's the other thing to think about. Anyway, take care. I hope that helps some of you if you do have your vehicle or van hijacked. And of course, the other thing is, if you're in that much danger anyway, just get out, take the key, walk away. Let them do what they want. You got your insurance, just let them do it, because again, it's not worth your life. But yeah, like I say, if there's no other way, obviously stand your ground. But if not, it's really not worth it. And trust me on that one. And this guy, he's done it to multiple other people. It's a matter of time before he goes down. And then that's it, isn't it? Really, he's off the street again. And hopefully the current person who does John Ebrington's job will sort of say, no mate, you've smashed into vans, you're ruining people's livelihood, you're going down, son. So anyway, take care guys, and I hope that helps some of you.